Welcome to Comics Are Awesome, brought to you by Alter Ego Comics. My name is Mark. I'm a longtime comic book reader and longtime comic store owner, 15 years and counting. And today I'm going to give you my recommendations for this week's best comics for the week of January 23rd, 2019. We'll start things off with my pick of the week, Guardians of the Galaxy, #1 by Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. This is a relaunch, surprise, surprise, of Guardians of the Galaxy, but the playing field has changed significantly. This is basically spinning out of Donny Cates' Thanos run and involves the heaviest hitters in space coming together to listen to Thanos' last will and testament, although it turns out that's not exactly what it is. So, Star Fox, Thanos' brother, has assembled this motley crew, which includes no, actually it doesn't include any Guardians right off the bat. It includes Beta Ray Bill and Silver Surfer. Who else? The Shi'ar Royal Guard, some other folks. Moondragon is there. Lots of outer spacey people. The Starjammers are there. And eventually, I should say Cosmic Ghost Rider is involved and delivers some of the best the best dialogue in the book. And eventually Peter Quill and Groot show up, and apparently they're all that remains of the Guardians of the Galaxy. So I don't want to spoil the crux of the issue here, so I can't say a whole lot more except that I really, really dug it. And I haven't read Donny Cates' Thanos run. I didn't read all of Infinity War. I think that's what Infinity Wars. I don't even remember the last Infinity thing that Marvel did. I think Jerry Dugan was writing it, but I didn't read all of that, and I was able to completely understand what was going on in here. Would definitely recommend this to any of you that picked up Cosmic Ghost Rider and really dug it. And if you were reading any of the previous incarnations of Guardians of the Galaxy, you're going to really enjoy this. The artwork by Shaw is fantastic. The writing by Cates is great, as always, and really curious to see where this goes because, yeah, it's very interesting. I really dug it. Next up is Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #2. Written by Tom Taylor, artwork by Juan Cabal. I talked about the first issue when it came out 2 weeks ago and how much I enjoyed it, how much heart it had to it, and this issue just continues that greatness. It got a lot of humor in this issue, made me laugh out loud 3 different times, which doesn't happen a lot in comics. The artwork continues to be very strong. The storytelling is top-notch, and man, it's good. We get a special appearance by the Human Torch. And man, I highly recommend it. Whether you're reading Amazing Spider-Man or not, this could be your only Spider-Man book if you were looking to only buy one. But if you're reading Amazing Spider-Man, you absolutely need to check this out. Tom Taylor is one of the best storytellers in comics, and we'll just say best storytellers, period, because he does work in television and other media. So yeah, his stuff is so good. He's such a talented writer and has the ability to change the tone and the voice depending on the series. So I'll just go back and reiterate, Tom Taylor, you're one of the best storytellers working today. We have another new reboot, this one with a little bit of a twist. This is Buffy the Vampire Slayer #1, written by Jordi Belair, artwork by Dan Mora, I think. Let me go back and check. I'm not sure who's doing what. I know Joss Whedon is kind of supervising things. Yes, written by Jordi Belair, artwork by Dan Mora. So this is being referred to from within Boom Studios. I should say this is published by Boom, who also recently relaunched Firefly, as Ultimate Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And if you don't know what that means, that's a reference to Ultimate Marvel, Ultimate Spider-Man, The Ultimates, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four. These are all titles that came out around the year 2000, and they were taking classic Marvel characters that had been around for decades and relaunching them as if they had hit the scene in the year 2000. Well, that's what we're doing here with Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But meet Buffy Summers, fast food worker, high school student, Slayer in the year 2018. And they're tweaking things here and there as they did in the Ultimate Universe. We do get to see Willow and Xander and Anya and Giles, so there is no reason you shouldn't pick this up if you're a Buffy fan. That is really who they're aiming this for. And I consider myself a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I love the TV series. I love the Angel TV series. I haven't stuck with a lot of the comics for one reason or another, but I really felt that this does a great job of capturing the fun of the early days of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and the artwork is top-notch. The likenesses to the actors and their characters is spot on. So another recommendation here, or I definitely recommend Buffy the Vampire Slayer. All right, we've got another new number one. Lots of number ones this week, new number ones. Naomi, which is the first Wonder Comics title out of DC Comics. This is Brian Michael Bendis' Playground, where he is definitely looking at a teen audience, but adults can absolutely enjoy these as well. So Naomi is co-written by Brian Michael Bendis and David Walker. Artwork is by Jamal Campbell. And let me just get this out of the way. The art in here by Campbell is jaw-droppingly awesome. It's the best looking book on the stands this week, hands down. Naomi is the best looking book. So this introduces a new character, and on the cover it says the biggest new mystery in the DC universe begins here. We meet Naomi, 17-year-old high school student, and her friends, and she feels like she just is a little out of place, and she keeps kind of missing things, and she knows that she is adopted. She kind of idolizes Superman as a result of that, since Superman is an alien who was adopted here on Earth by a human family. And so she has felt this kind of idolization and connection with Superman. But when Superman actually comes to her small town, she misses it because she's working, because she's not there. So this issue has a lot of humor, some depth of feeling, and introduces us to a bunch of new characters that are the people within Naomi's world, and leaves us with a big question mark at the end. So this is just the tip of the iceberg, I have a feeling, when it comes to Naomi and Wonder Comics. If you're a Bendis fan, if you're a David Walker fan, definitely want to check this one out. If you're looking for a new young hero, I'm assuming that she will become a hero. Maybe she'll become a villain. I don't know. And if you want to see the best looking book on the stands this week, you want to check out Naomi. Next up, I definitely recommend Uncanny X-Men Annual #1. This is written by Ed Brisson, artwork by Carlos Gomez, and this answers the question, how is Cyclops alive? Cyclops has been dead for several years, a victim of the Inhumans' Terrigen Mist and the way it interacts, I guess, with mutant DNA. And before that, he was a murderer, he was a vigilante, a bad guy, he was on the run, really off his rocker. And there are some hints in here that Emma Frost may have been manipulating him to some degree or another. But this is the Cyclops that most of us know and love. This is the hero Cyclops, the leader Cyclops. And as I said, we find out how he is back from the dead. And I won't spoil that for you, but I definitely recommend picking it up and figuring it out, or reading it for yourself, so that you can be ready when Uncanny X-Men #11 hits the stands. And that's where Cyclops and Wolverine are dealing with the fallout of Uncanny X-Men #10, which was the culmination, of course, of a 10-issue run by Matthew Rosenberg, Ed Brisson, and Kelly Thompson. Now with issue 11, Matthew Rosenberg takes over as the solo writer of Uncanny X-Men, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of Uncanny X-Men #10. Lots of great stuff in here. The artwork by Gomez is one of the big selling points. We've got a flashback story set in the late 60s, early 70s, and the artwork, Gomez changes his artwork style and the coloring and everything to really show you that it's a flashback. And then his modern stuff is top-notch as well. We have appearances by other X characters, and then we also have some people we've never heard of before, at least that I'm not aware of. Maybe they are really diving deep into X-Men history to bring these people out. But the bottom line is this is where Cyclops returns and explains how he's back. That's it for stuff that came out this week, but I do want to touch on two more Alterna Comics titles. You know, last week I talked about Alterna and recommended some of their titles. One of the big selling points for this is that they're only $1.50, and we've had several customers here at Alter Ego pick up 6, 7, 8 different titles because of that price point to try different things. Well, as I said, I mentioned 3 titles last week that I recommend. I've got 2 more for you this week. Doppleganger, which is written by Jordan Hart, artwork by Emmanuel Zirks Javier. This is a 4-issue limited series about a middle-aged man who survives a car crash only to discover that there is now a doppelganger of himself living his life. And I don't want to say any more than that because it's going to spoil some elements of the first issue, but I really dug it and I'm ready for the second issue already. Next up is the 12, or the XII. I'm not exactly sure how we're supposed to pronounce this, but the story is by Patrick Trehey, artwork by Luis Suarez. This is another post-apocalyptic, something has ruined humanity, has ruined the earth. Not sure what it is, and I do see that this is a trend in Alterna. There are several titles that have this trend, and that's okay, as long as the stories are good, and this one is. The focal point is a family made up of a husband, wife, a couple of kids. I should say three or 4 kids, plus the wife's brother and the husband's good friend, and they're all on this farm, basically trying to survive. And outside elements get involved and push them to make some decisions that they're not exactly happy about, and they have to journey into the city, which is now a very dangerous place. And we don't know why, but I can only imagine that we're going to see why in future issues. This is a 5-issue limited series. Really enjoyed the 12, really enjoyed Doppelganger. They both get a big thumbs up from me from Alterna Comics, and at $1.50 a piece, you really can't go wrong. So that's it for another episode of Comics Are Awesome. I do appreciate you tuning in or listening. If you enjoyed this week's episode, please like, comment, and share. Make sure to subscribe, whether you're on YouTube or listening to this as a podcast. And if you have any questions, give me a shout out at Mark, M-A-R-C, at alteregocomics.com, or post questions in the comments in the YouTube video. And head out and support your local comic shop. That's what we're all about. Have a great week, folks. We'll see you again real soon.